you're here with us today on this important day where we have the opportunity to share with you some work that we think is going to be very impactful. We think you think that too. That's why you're here with us this afternoon. So as we get started, I just want to take a moment right now and just recognize the 19 Pueblos, the 4 nations, as stewards of this land since before statehood. We commit to being better stewards through relationships with Indigenous communities, and we are committed to that long term. And so we also want to acknowledge the injustices that were endured by many other communities. We think about the 12 million enslaved Africans who were taken from their homelands and forced to endure labor. We think about the Native American children that were separated from their families and were placed in boarding schools. We also remember the 120,000 Japanese Americans that were displaced from their homes, their possessions taken from them. They were confined to internment camps, and that was here in New Mexico. And so with that acknowledgement, you know, for me personally, my name is Sonia Lara. I serve, and I have the honor to serve, I should say, as the Director of the Office of Equity and Inclusion for the City of Albuquerque. And we take that seriously. We take that as a place that we center our work from. And so we're here today with you in solidarity, knowing that we are here struggling together, trying to make an impact on our community that we care so much about. So thank you again for everyone being here at the International District Library. Thank you for hosting us here to just announce this amazing work we have planned. And before I get too far inside of the conversation, did want to take a moment just to let you know that we are going to have some activities. You probably looked at them already, these beautiful pieces. I love when I see the artwork done by children when they draw the pictures of the different ideas that they're trying to formulate. But when they think about the way that this program could impact them, they had ideas, they had visions, they as young children had dreams. And that's what we are really leaning into when we think about this program, is how do we help children achieve their dreams? How do we help families here in New Mexico, and Albuquerque in particular, achieve their dreams? They're joined with their family. Some of them are parents, some of them are teachers, some of them are community members that just really care about the children there. And so as you look at those things, as you hear the conversation we have today, we invite you also to do the same. And so we have some papers, some pens over there. Unleash your inner child, if you will, and draw a picture. That's okay. We just want to gather all that information, and we want to look back on, once this program is completed, all the things that we were dreaming would happen, and checking off all the things, how we were able to be better off as a result of it. So thank you again for being here. And with that, I'm going to have the privilege of calling up our mayor of Albuquerque, Mayor Tim Keller.
Take me a while to get up here with my cane. Old man winter. All right, so it's great to see everyone. Good afternoon. And we're very excited to roll out this program, and I just want to share, I think, a couple of things in regards to this. But first, I also want to make sure and acknowledge all the community folks. There are a bunch of different organizations who are helping with this project, and so I see many of you here. Let's just give each other a round of applause for caring and trying to do something about it. Now, I know whether it's faith leaders or the Action Council or the Black Leadership Council, there are folks who have been interested in the intersection of really, in many ways, poverty, social services, eviction prevention, but just in general, community building and family support. And that's really what this is all about. This is a very cutting-edge idea that has been tried in dozens of cities around the country, and we're very excited to try it here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And so for us, too, you know, we know this is part of a small part of correcting also a lot of systematic injustices that keep folks from accessing the windows of opportunity, the doorways of opportunity that they deserve, that we all deserve. But we know that, unfortunately, whether it's your zip code or whether it's your own background or your family's background, not everyone has the same access. And this is literally meant to try and change some of that, to try and remedy some of that in a small way for a few folks. Now, yesterday we honored the life and legacy of Dr. Harold Bailey, and just want to acknowledge, I know half the people I think were there for that ceremony, and I think this is one of the things where I remember talking to him about this idea, by the way. And you know, it's new and cutting edge, so he had a lot of questions. But I feel like in the end, of course, he was very supportive, as he always was. But also, I think in some ways, just because we were talking about him so much yesterday and thinking about him, it's a great thing that we're rolling this out today, and even in close association with the very same community in many ways that was gathered at the mortuary at French's to reflect on his life. So Dr. Bailey's legacy continues in many ways through each of us and through this program. Now, we're going to hear from some folks involved with this. We're going to hear from our city councilor who's sponsoring this. It did pass its first committee. I want to let everyone know it still has to go to full council, so we're going to need your help there to push it through. But what we're announcing, of course, today is, at least officially, we've mentioned it a couple of times, is our Guaranteed Income Initiative in Albuquerque. And for us, this is also a course correction. In many ways, it's about providing financial assistance and supplemental income to folks who have not been able to have the same access to services historically, which includes our underserved communities, like right here in the International District. And it also, unfortunately, includes folks of color. And so for us, this is a small way that we can try and set those folks on a path forward to prosperity. Now, we also know that this has to do with our school system. We're doing this in partnership with APS. There's a couple of schools that are involved in this, Whittier, Cristo Rey, I think there's another one, and that's also why we're doing the time capsule for the kids. And so we're very excited to have APS help us administer and understand this program so that we're getting to the right families and also so that we can measure and track results. And we're also funding this, I think, in a very appropriate way when I mentioned that notion of a course correction. People are always asking me, well, there's all these cannabis shops everywhere. What are we doing with the tax money? Well, we're giving it right back to the families who need it the most. That is exactly what this program does. And so for us, it's being run by our Office of Equity and Inclusion. You already met Sonia, who directs that. There's a whole team who's here who does this work each and every day, and we're going to hear from some of them shortly, but I want to thank them. Also, our Office of Financial Empowerment, which is part of this work, again, because this is about financial empowerment. And they're supported by a wonderful host of folks, too, whether it's the Mott Foundation or Community Action or even the Kellogg Foundation. So there's a lot of folks who've sort of made this become a reality for us once we get that final city council vote. So we want to thank our counselors in advance, hopefully, the advocates, and of course our public schools, and also our civil rights team that works on these issues each and every day, but also has helped connect the dots here to make sure that we're also making a statement that we care about every single person in our community, and we're going to care the most about the people who need it the most. That's why we're spending tens of millions of dollars on the Gateway, and that's why we're doing this project with cannabis revenue for guaranteed income for the families in most need in our city. So with more details on this we're going to hear all about it, so I'm going to hand it back over to our next speaker, which actually is, I think, is back to Sonia. All right, so come on up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mayor Keller. I really appreciate those words, caring about those that need this the most. And so with that, I'm going to introduce our leadership team at the Office of Equity and Inclusion, Dr. Nina Cooper, whom I know many of you know here, and also Deputy Director Dylan Shahay. And so they're going to be able to provide some details. I'm sure you're curious about how this could work. And so I have the distinct honor of working with these leaders. They are amazing. They've been doing incredible work to push this forward, and I'm just so proud to be able to introduce them to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dylan Shahay, Deputy Director at the Office of Equity and Inclusion. And I just wanted to say that the Office of Equity and Inclusion is honored to develop and implement a guaranteed income program which can advance the freedoms and experience of the community members we serve. The funding for this program will come from the Marijuana Equity and Community Reinvestment Fund, which was created to correct the injustices that communities primarily of color suffered as a result of the criminalization of marijuana. And as Mayor shared. So thank you, and I want to pass it on to Dr. Nina Cooper.
Thanks, Dylan, and welcome, and thank you so much for coming out. We just want to say today is a day of celebration, as the mayor has talked about, redressing inequities, but also igniting the promise of the future. And while we're still putting the pieces of the puzzle together, we just want to give you a tidbit of what we're planning to be eligible for the program. Participants must reside in the International District or the southwestern region of the city. There are 2 districts that were chosen. Elementary schools we're looking at. Again, we're still working on the puzzle pieces, but we've chosen them because they are Title I schools and because they have the lowest academic outcomes. And so part of our goal is to increase or to help with the chronic absenteeism rate at 2 schools in these districts. Our goal is to begin the first cohort soon, after we get the passage of City Council and all of the ducks in a row. We endeavor to serve at least 80 households with a monthly guaranteed income of $750 per month for 3 years. Can we give that a big hand? I don't know about you, but that would make a big difference in my life, and especially in low-income communities. Additional guaranteed income programming will be implemented in the fall to boost and fuel aspirations of people seeking workforce development in pathway industries such as early child care, and also to youth who are marginalized and aging out of the foster care system. At least 20 families would be impacted by that, and 40 opportunity youth will receive $750 also for 3 years. Another big round of applause. And so we just wanted to say again, for all of the community partners that have been working with us, New Mexico Black Leadership Council, hooray. United Way of Northern Central New Mexico, hooray for you. Mayors of Guaranteed Income, who've been such an essential part, and also Partners for Community Action. Thank you so much. Thank you.
See, I told you I had a dynamic team. Thank you both for sharing that and for that work you do. We talked about important partners, and so next I want to call up Counselor Nicole Rogers to share some words with us. We really appreciate her leadership and her support in this avenue.
How are y'all feeling? I mean, we should be more excited about that, y'all. We trying to end poverty over here, okay? Right? That's what this is about. We need to remember why we're here. We're trying to end poverty, especially in District 6, where the poverty is centered for all of Bernalillo County, right here where we stand today. So that's what's at stake here. And I'm so excited. I know I'm jumping off the roof because this is something Mayor and I talked about a lot when I worked in equity and inclusion, about the fact that we needed an office of financial empowerment. We had pieces of it, right? We had our Bank on Burke, we had financial navigators, consumer protection, right? But all of those things were kind of in different departments going in different directions. But now that we have the team pulling all that together on top of other things, right, that I know Dr. Dinah Cooper is working on, that we're really going to be able to help folks with their financial futures. And it's not just economic development. Economic development is for business owners. It's not for the average person. And so this is about the average person getting what they need. This is not a handout. This is a hand up. And that's the difference here. There is research upon research upon research about this working. So we got to get it done. We have the funding. This isn't going to raise anybody's taxes, right? Let's turn something, whether you agree with it or not, it is here, and we can use the funding for good. And that's what this is about. This is about correcting the wrongs and everything that's happening in our country right now. Albuquerque, we are going to be leaders. We're not listening to that rhetoric. We are going to focus locally. We're going to put our heads down, and we're going to do the work here in our little neck of the woods. So, I feel good, I'm excited, and we can do this. We can do this. This is just the beginning of ending poverty and closing the racial wealth gap. That's what this is about. So thank you to our mayor, thank you to the team in OEI, thank you to community, my fellow counselors. Let's get this done. Amen. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much, Councilor Rogers, for those words. We have additional comments we want to welcome up right now, both Catherine McGill, who is the Executive Director of New Mexico Black Leadership Council, and Dean Alfred Mathewson. These folks have been developing an incredible program that this guaranteed income model will be based on, and we just want to give them the opportunity to share a few words.
All right, how y'all doing? I want to just say thank you for having us here, and my colleague. I'm so grateful to have, everybody should have a friend like Alfred Mathewson, the former dean of the law school, who in his retirement said, I really want to do something for the community, and he's made this his passion project to see that everybody has access to the resources they need to thrive. Our ancestors did what they did for us, not just so that we could survive, but so that we could thrive. And this guaranteed basic income project that we're calling Partner NM is a paradigm shift about how we really are doing things in our community. This is not charity, as others have mentioned. It's an investment in our community, making sure that people have access to resources, but it also has reciprocal accountability built in, meaning that everybody has to have skin in the game. Warren Buffett said that if you want a business to survive, that everybody has to understand their role and responsibility, and they have to have skin in the game. And so what our skin in the game is to be able to successfully use the resources that come from the proceeds from the Cannabis Equity Fund, to say, what are those dollars, what's a beneficial use, an efficacious use of those dollars? And it is to go and help some of the Title I schools that we work with in the International District and other parts of the city to say, we understand how tough it is. Everybody knows how tough it is, but how can we make it better? What's our role? We have the resources to expend. We're going to use them in the International District, in the South Valley, to assist with chronic absenteeism. But is this something that where we're just going to give people money to go party with? That's not what it is. And so what we want you to do as community is to get educated about what guaranteed basic income really is. Don't take my word for it. Google it. You can look it up. You can see what it is and what it is not. What it will be for us in this community is an opportunity for people to not have to be stressed about those intersectional things about housing. Look at how much it costs to rent a house. 60% of the people who live in the International District are cost burdened for housing, meaning that they pay more than 30% of their income for housing, sometimes more than 50%. So you just can't get ahead like that. And so what we are saying is that we also want people to have a partnership with us to say that I want my condition to be different. We want to make sure that it's not just a one-time promise that we just, give people a promise that we're going to do something for them and we're only there for a minute. We understand that this is a movement and it's not a moment. And so we're there to see long-term community resiliency. That's what New Mexico Black Leadership Council is committed to that shared accountability, and for all of us to make sure that we can thrive. The cost of inaction is clear. We're going to lose more kids to the system and to the grave. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to see that happen. My friend, Alfred Mathewson.
Thank you. I took time to write my remarks because as a law professor, I'm accustomed to teaching like 50 minutes, hour, and they've given me less than that. So I'm Alfred Mathewson, an emeritus professor and former dean of the UNM School of Law, and an unpaid volunteer consultant with the New Mexico Black Leadership Council. But because I use my university title, I have to issue a disclaimer. What I say to you are my words, my views, and it's not a statement of the position of the university. I think I first approached Kathy about 3 or 4 years ago with the idea of a guaranteed basic income program in the International District. And she let it, she ruminated on it and then finally came back. And so the reason that I was interested in this, once that I started seeing these pilot programs occurring, and why not Albuquerque, but it's also because of my story. I grew up in a house without indoor plumbing. in a neighborhood that's a close cousin to the International District. I remember I only had one birthday party. I was, when I was 12 years old. And I was terrified that somebody was going to ask to use the bathroom. I know what it's like to grow up in poverty, but more importantly, I know well the power of safety ropes. And guaranteed basic income is a powerful safety rope. There have been more than 100 these projects that have been piloted around the country. They have provided unconditional cash payments to specified target groups, such as mothers with young children, families with children, older children who are aging out of foster care, parents enrolling in community colleges with children, people who are re-entering society from prison. So that you have a target group. And there are others. The programs also vary in the amount of payments, from anywhere from $300 to $1,000 a month. They vary in the duration of the payments, usually from 6 months to 3 years. And there have been some natural experiments that are longer in duration. They have policy goals that are evaluated on those goals. And I've looked at a number of these evaluation reports. Most of them show that recipients do not squander the money. The programs offer them the freedom to make choices about how best to use their financial resources to meet their needs. Data indicates that they spend about 92% on retail services and sales, food and groceries, transportation, housing, utilities, and financial transactions. Recipients have reported improvements in their mental health and stress levels. Many recipients have reported that they became more employable and often learning new skills. Some recipients have reported improvement in child well-being, and their children wind up with more positive and enthusiastic attitudes towards school as the parents have more time to spend with them. We have learned from those evaluation reports, especially those that examine educational benefits to children in designing this one. We have added some innovations, though. This program is a double-braided safety rope. It's centering on improving the educational outcomes for children. The two braids are, one, unconditional cash payments, and second, wraparound services. Partner in New Mexico, or Partner NM, as we have called it, results from collaborations with other organizations, elected officials, stakeholders, organizations, city, APS. It's a collaborative process that continues. And it is an investment, though, in community resilience and educational opportunity. This program, like all the other GBI pilot programs, gives families and individuals a pathway to lift themselves out of poverty and their children to educational success. Thank you.
Yeah. And the reason that we have Professor Mathewson is because he knows how to use words like double-braided.
All right. Well, thank you both. Thank you both for your community involvement and your thought leadership. Just grateful for everyone being here. We think we've did a pretty good job of helping you understand what our hopes and our dreams are for this, for our community. As we mentioned at the beginning, we have a way for you as you've listened to this information, as you've thought about it. I'm imagining that you're seeing your neighbor, maybe your child, maybe a friend, a cousin, someone that you care about that you would love to see better off as a result of something like this. And so what we want you to do is over here at this table, take some time and write down those things, draw those pictures, talk to us, help us understand some of the ways that you've been processing this information. This is a community effort, as we've described, and we want to continue that on the way through. So thank you all. This is officially the end of today's event, but do take time to capture that, and we will have those inside of this beautiful time capsule. And again, we'll be so excited to look back and see all the good things that have happened that community designed and community wanted to see. So thank you so much. Oh, wait, no, I have to pause the show for Councilor Rogers here.
I have to tell you, we could use your help. Everybody that's here, sign up for public comment for our council meeting coming
coming up and show your support and speak to why we need council to pass this. I can do my thing, but I need, if everyone shows up in droves and says, we want this, it's hard for folks to vote against that. We have an election year right now. 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 are all up for re-election. This is an issue that they should be talking about. And so I can say that, but I know our staff cannot, so I needed to say that. Sign up for public comment. The link will be on the website tomorrow around 4 o'clock. You can sign up until Monday at 4 o'clock. You can do it written comment. You can come in person, or you can do it via Zoom. So you can be at home and hanging out until it's time to talk, do your thing. But we really, if everybody here that's here right now, that's not a city employee, of course, just caveat. Oh, okay, you're right. Monday is not my President's Day. So we have,
Wednesday.
Wednesday, thank you, that gives us more time, thank you. Wednesday is our council meeting, I was gonna be there on Monday. Wednesday is when we do public comment. So please, 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 sign up for that. I have to be real.
Thank you, Councilor Rogers. The challenge has been submitted, so thank you all.